So thank you both very much. As we mentioned, women will soon control the majority of wealth in America. Our next guest is on a mission to help women put that wealth to work through venture capitalism. I'm pleased to be joined by Portfolia founder Trish Costello. Welcome, Trish. Thank you for being here. So I guess the natural segue question is, for those who are watching the last segment and maybe frustrated by some sort of inability to get that promotion and just the overall gap that they see in the workplace, do you turn that into an entrepreneurial pursuit? And if so, you need the capital to get that up off the ground and running. And that's kind of where you come in. So first, could you just give us a little background about what you do, how you seek to support women through venture capital and angel investing?
Yes, Leslie. It's such an exciting opportunity to be able to both start entrepreneurial companies, but also to be investing in those entrepreneurial companies. This is where most of the innovation comes from in our country. And for too long, we have not been involved as investors. And as entrepreneurs, we've often not been able to get the kind of money we need to really effectively grow our companies. That's all changing now, though.
What do you think have been the big hurdles in the past, and what are you seeking to solve when you say it's all changing now? What is the solve for that?
How cute your socks are.
Well, traditionally, we've not been a part of these networks where investments were made by initially angel investors or individuals that were investing in these new technologies and new innovations, or in the venture capital world, where we put our money behind venture capital funds, and that money is invested, in really interesting, innovative, sometimes groundbreaking kinds of companies. Now we're seeing more venture capital firms like Portfolia that are actually designed for women, using different approaches and interactions in communities, and often backing the kinds of companies that can really both impact our lives and provide us outsized returns.
What are some examples of those types of companies, whether it be in the healthcare space or the consumer space, as we've shared so many stats about women and wealth during the session so far? It's very clear that the trend is kind of up and to the right in terms of women's purchasing power, women's access to wealth, women's overseeing of wealth. And so what kind of products out there that you think would be or are currently filling that gap?
I got the original post right here. Okay.
Well, Leslie, one of the areas that I think is so important is women's health. Portfolia created the first venture capital fund focused in women's health, and that was just in 2018. There had never been a venture firm that was really looking at women's health as an opportunity to both make returns and get new innovation out there. Since that time, we've invested in 55 companies in women's health, startup companies, innovative companies. And that's everything from, two of the big unicorns today, Maven Clinic and Everly Health, which are really revolutionizing women's health in the marketplace, but also early stage startups. The first male birth control pill we're funding today. And even though some people think that's not women's health, think about the change that will make in our lives when there's a daily male birth control pill that our partners can use. Bone health is another area. Osteoporosis is one of the few areas that's not really shifted in years. And it's a critical area, osteopenia, osteoporosis. And we're now backing solutions that will enable us to live longer, healthier lives, without the kind of illnesses we're addressing today.
That's amazing. And yes, male birth control is absolutely a women's health issue. In terms of, those in the audience who may be thinking, well, I have an idea, I would like to try kind of striking it out on my own, the entrepreneurial side of things. How do they get that access to capital? How do they find you or someone like you to fund the business if they don't know kind of even where to begin?
This is my wife, Sarah. Lovely to meet you.
Well, it's one of those where you really need to do the research again. Venture capitalism today is kind of a specialty business. So you want to find the kinds of organizations that, that will understand what you're doing, know your market, know the challenges to you as an entrepreneur in that field, and really enlist them early. Talk to them, when you're entering the marketplace. Create that community around you that can really add value. And it's also important to get those first few customers. As an entrepreneur, you really want to show and prove that people will buy. You'll want to show that what you have is a unique offering in the marketplace that customers want. And so taking those first steps, finding ways to indicate that what you have is going to be, lauded in the marketplace is important.
And what about those who are interested in supporting women through this means, through investing in venture capital and see the upside as you've described, especially as this is in many ways a previously untapped market?
Well, when I was listening to Raquel earlier, she was just spot on also with her comments about what's happening in investing in venture capital by women. Women are really good investors in venture capital funds and directly in these companies. We understand teams and how teams operate. We know the markets. We're often the buyers of so many of these products. We understand, exit opportunities and competition. And we're very good at venture capital investing. But we're oftentimes put off because we don't understand, the terminology, the lingo, if you will. And so there are firms like ours that are making that more accessible. For instance, in Portfolia funds, you can invest $10,000 in a venture capital fund, and that's invested across 12 to 15 companies. And you can be as involved as you like. You can come on every month and watch companies pitch. You can hear our partners ask questions and actually be at the table. And Leslie, in a typical venture fund, you could put $10 million to work and never be at the table like you can in our community. It's just important. That's what women are looking for.
Do you think that women entrepreneurialism is something where the full ecosystem is best supported by women, or does it really matter if you have women investors in your women limited partners in your venture capital firm, in the fund there, and then that invests in women entrepreneurs and women leaders, serving women customers? I mean, is that chain, is that kind of supply chain of capital important? Or does there need to be more education to get men on board as well?
So I think it's both, Leslie. You want to have women at the table green lighting the innovation we want in the world. When we're looking at, active aging companies or women's health companies, you have a real advantage when you have women at the table. And in our case, we have, women, OB gynecologists, anesthesiologists, and others that bring great strength and knowledge and expertise. But we also need men, and we need those late stage, big dollars coming in behind these companies. And so you need the full ecosystem. And often, we're the ones educating men in the environment on what the opportunities are in these marketplaces. Women's health is over $1 trillion opportunity, investing opportunity. And honestly, for many, many years, it was completely missed because there weren't women at the table. I think it's critical that we're at the table making these decisions ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. It's just an amazing revelation how impactful women can be when they have a seat at the table and can showcase these markets that people previously just didn't even know existed. Lastly, I just wanted to share with you an audience question, which is, what is the entry point for careers in VC? If there are more women in VC, we will fund minority and women enterprises.
Sent a friend over the check on the property.
Absolutely, we will. We need more women at the table. And the best way to start is as an angel investor, getting your feet wet and really understanding those opportunities. Um, that's really the entry point, is starting to make those investments. And you can do it, with very small numbers at the beginning. I tell women that are looking to build a career to keep an investment journal. So every time you look at a private company and decide to take it into due diligence, make sure you're recording all of that and why you're investing or why you're not investing. And so you continue to hone your judgment skills and your decision-making skills. And that really becomes your portfolio when you're looking to get into a venture fund. That's when you're showing your work and how you think about investing in companies and how you add value to those companies after you make that investment.
And it's amazing because we've been talking, throughout this session just about this great wealth transfer to women, which would present itself to more opportunities in venture capital. So it'll be amazing. Maybe in a few years' time, we'll bring you back. We'll kind of see how far we've come and how much this has grown, given all of these kind of other events out there and other trends that we're seeing. Trish, really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. Really interesting perspective and interesting session.
Thank you, Leslie.
Financial advisor Lizetta Rainey Braxton answers your questions. Plus, reality star Teresa Nist shares her career story and why it is never too late to start something new. First, it's our time for our strategy sessions, and you have two to choose from: Psych Up Your Finances and Financial Strategies for Women in the Sandwich Generation. To join, click the sessions icon on the left side of your screen and then select the conversation you wish to join. You can sample both if you want to. And after the strategy sessions have concluded, we will meet right back here on the main stage around 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I will see